Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dain here with another Return of the Gentleman lesson or conversation or something I'm doing to try to give you some awareness to make your life easier, especially as a gentleman out there in the world. And I'm very grateful you are pursuing this awareness. What an amazing gift it is to have you stand up as a man and say, I desire to be and do something different in the world. I desire to actually be me and do whatever I can do to make the world a truly greater place for everybody. And stop that friggin' stigma we have around what it means to be a man, especially if you're like me, if you're actually aware, if you're sensitive, if you desire more for others, if you have a level of caring for other people and kindness towards others. Thanks for being willing to be someone in something that's different. So today's conversation is how to ask a woman out. Now, this applies to women and men, okay? I'm just going to simplify things for my own. So just know at the beginning of this conversation, there's no exclusion of anyone here, okay? But I'm going to point this out so you can see in what ways all of this stuff applies. I realize that there's a lot of confusion around this area. So I just want to clarify it from a slightly different perspective, which is actually an energetic perspective, energetic awareness perspective. So hopefully we can make this area easier for you, because that's sort of the whole target. Let's make it easier. Let's make it more fun, right? Right. Remember the thing about access consciousness, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Now we have this as what we call a mantra. We suggest you say it 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening. I'm going to suggest you say it at least 20 times before you go ask somebody out. So here's the way it works, all right? Couple things. First is you want to recognize that the most seductive thing in the world is when you see someone with no judgment and when you're truly being you. Okay, so a lot of us have heard of pickup lines at work by someone. Well, I'm going to suggest that in that moment, they were actually being them and they came up with something really creative and unique that nobody else had thought of before, but it was from being them. And because they were actually being them in the moment, and it was creative and it was unique and it was funny or whatever, the girl was like, oh my gosh, I would love to go out with you, or whatever it was. Okay. So, but what we've been taught out there in the world is there are these lines we need to use. There are these, what's that stuff? Oh, NLP techniques that we must use in order to get women, and we must mimic their behavior. And oh my fucking God, are you fucking kidding me? Could we make it any more challenging on ourselves? Let me give you a couple awarenesses, okay? Well, hopefully a lot of awarenesses. Hopefully you're getting some already. So number one, all the stuff that you've tried to do that has not worked, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you weren't being you when it was happening. You want to be you, whatever it is. It doesn't mean you go up and bleed on them about your problems. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not that. I hope it's never that, actually. But this is where you actually just be you. Let me tell you another piece of information most people don't have. And that is that you're highly, 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 highly aware. Okay? You're so friggin' highly aware, you don't even have any idea of how aware you are. What do I mean in this particular context is when you think about asking a girl out and you start to feel really weird, you start to feel really contracted, like, oh, you're not pretty enough. You're not, good looking enough, you're not sexy enough, whatever we say as guys. But a lot of times, let's face it, you just think you're not pretty enough. Let's just call a spade here, okay? What I would suggest is do not ask that girl out. Why? Because I will tell you from personal experience, what this really is your awareness that you are dealing with somebody who is functioning from a lot of judgment, especially if she's somebody that everybody wants to hit on and ask out and all that sort of thing. And you have to realize that most people are so busy, most guys are so busy functioning from their image that they never take a moment to just be whoever the heck they are and be present with somebody. And so you'll have a lot of women that you might want to ask out that already have a bunch of points of view about men, women, relationship, how bad men are, they're only using them for sex, they're never going to do it, blah, blah, like all this weird shit, which is why I want to have this conversation and get this stuff out there about Return of the Gentleman in the first place, so we can start changing this stuff and undoing the lies. But chances are you're going to see somebody who you see as attractive. Guess what? There have been thousands of guys who have seen that girl as attractive. She's aware and doesn't know it. She's picked up on that energy her entire life. And now what guys do is they tend to push this energy like, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful. You're so, come home with me. Stop it. Okay, so We got a few balls in the air right now. No pun intended, maybe pun intended. If you are having the sense of a weird, twisted, yucky, crappy, shitty judgment of you, don't ask that girl out. You want to know why? Because however she's wired, and you have no idea what her life experiences is, that's hers. But however she's wired and however you're going to walk into that, that's the world you're about to walk into. Even if you do like a lot of guys do and you spend 20, 30 minutes talking to her, if she allows you to be there that long without just going, get away, asshole, what's going to happen is you are going to spend your entire life and relationship with her, whatever time you spend with her, is going to be spent trying to prove your value, trying to prove that she doesn't have to judge you, trying to prove that you're different. Now, if you're like a lot of guys, you're also going to be wanting to have sex. Oh my God, what a surprise. I can't believe that. This is probably the first time it's ever happened on the planet. So in order to do that, though, you're going to have to convince her that you are not only different than other guys, but that you fit into something that is something she requires you to fit into in order to allow that to happen. Now, is this wrong for her to have this point of view? No, it's just her point of view. It's not wrong for her. It's not wrong for you to perceive it and then try to go there and then spend the entire rest of your relationship with her, whether that's 5 minutes or 50 years, trying to prove that you have value and that you love her and care for her, and to get her to see the value of her and also see the value of you. None of it's wrong. It's just, do you really want to work that hard? My suggestion is to look at somebody who's attractive to you, but that doesn't really know it. Meaning you see them, you're like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. And you can tell they're not one of these people who's like, oh my God, I'm so beautiful. Okay, when they have the point of view, oh my God, I'm so beautiful, a lot of you and a lot of other guys will want them. And yet, what you don't realize is what's underneath the surface of that. There's a lot going on for them that you have never experienced, or maybe you have, but I'm going to say probably not, at least not in, a woman's shoes. Unless you have to be a gay woman, this will apply, okay? And you know what I'm talking about there too. But there's a lot going on that it's realized there's 8 billion people on the planet. There will be people that you will find attractive that where you think about asking them out, it's just easy. Now, here's the weird part, okay? Is what happens is there's certain people where it will be easy, but we don't value those. We consider those the no counts of life. Like they just don't count because, well, why don't they count? Because, oh, well, I don't have to work that hard. They just like me for who I am. Oh, they're not in judgment of me. Do you get what I'm talking about here? Everybody's different. We tend to do this weird thing in this world we live in of putting people into different categories of, beautiful woman, therefore must want to have sex with her because she's the hottest girl in the room. And therefore, then if I get her, then I have value. So basically what you're trying to do in that is prove that you're not a no count, that you actually have value because you got the hottest girl in the room, and now you have value because you had sex with her. And my question is, when you've gone there with somebody like that, what was the sex like? Was it fun? And so this is a place where we have to actually start honoring ourselves. We actually have to start being ourselves. If you're actually going to be you and ask a girl out, you go up and you be you. What I would do is I would suggest something very startling. It starts like this. Cute girl over here. I walk up and I would go, hi, with a smile on my face. Now, here's the weird part. Here's the wonderful part. Here's the part that if you actually listen to it will make your life so easy you're not going to listen to it. But let me tell you how this works, okay? If you go up and you say, hi, within half a friggin' second, you're going to know whether she's interested in you or not. If she kind of looks you up and down and goes, ugh, walk away. That is somebody who has decided she is far more valuable than you will ever be. Now, but what we tend to do as guys, if we have a response like that, we're like, oh, I'm going to find some way to get her. Guys, stop being stupid. Stop working that hard. Now, if that's your thing and you really like working hard to get women and keeping women and proving you have value, then go ahead and keep doing that. All I'm saying is there's so many more wonderfully contributory people out there. So many more people that don't actually have judgment of you. So many people that won't require you to jump through hoops to be with them. So what I would do is I would go up with a smile on my face, say hi, shake her hand. And in that moment, there's going to be a sense. That sense will either be there'll be three, basically. Well, let's say three, okay? Let's simplify it to three. One is get away, asshole, meaning she'll be pushing energy at you, going, go away, I don't want anything to do with you. Now, here's the other thing we have to get. It's not personal. You have no idea what's going on in her life. She could have just broken up with a 10-year relationship or something, and she just doesn't want anything to do with men or relationship or sex or anything else. Well, that has nothing to do with you, my friend. Remember, here's the biggest thing you want to get in this whole how to ask a woman out, dating, this sort of stuff. It's not personal. They had a life long before you arrived. They developed lots of points of view long before you arrived. No matter how hard you try, if they don't want to change those points of view, you're not going to change them. And if you're trying to change a point of view, they don't want to change, you're going to spend your entire relationship trying to change that point of view. When you perceive that, go, wow, sorry to interrupt you, bye. Literally, get out of there as fast as you can. There's nothing you're going to do to salvage that situation. Except, like I said, those of you who really like to work hard, you're going to come back and you're going to find some way, and you'll feel like you're successful if after the 10th thing you say, she finally looks at you and smiles like they do in the movies, and she's like, here, okay, you can buy me a drink. And you're going to feel so successful. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm like those guys in the movies, and I'm so friggin' cool. I'm not going to say you're an idiot, but I will say you're going to spend a lot more energy than you want to maintaining the door you just opened, if it's going to stay open. Okay, enough said. So that's first. They push energy. Second is they're totally neutral. They're like, I would, if it were me, I'd be like, wow, I hope you have a wonderful night. You know, you look beautiful in that dress, whatever it is, something that actually is kind to them, and then move on. Third energy is if you say hi and somebody pulls energy from you. Now, this is one of the biggest things that you can do also, but let me tell you from the perspective of the woman where you're asking or saying hi to her. Okay, that, by the way, how do you ask a woman out? You start with hi, because we need to say hi, at least. We start with that, right? And what I'm telling you is in the first few moments, you know, and you have the sense of whether or not energetically she's open to whatever you might want to be doing. You want to go to coffee? Do you want to have sex? Do you want to have a relationship? Whatever it is. You'll have a sense of whether or not she's open to you in the first moment. One of the things that we do as men, and I alluded to this before, is we tend to push energy at women we're attracted to. Now, what happens to you when somebody pushes energy at you? You know what it makes you do is you either put up a barrier or you want to run away. So if you see somebody and you're interested in them, what you want to do is lower all of your walls and barriers. Stop thinking you need to be a man, a caveman, and mount it or kill it. No, you're going to be a gentleman from this point forward. What does a gentleman do? A gentleman lowers their walls and barriers, and they pull energy from the person like crazy, which lowers their walls and barriers, which creates an energetic connection. And now you know the person that you're dealing with, and they get a sense of being, how do you know the person you're dealing with? Because now, rather than just seeing all their walls and barriers, now you actually have an energetic connection with them, the being, and now you can see if there's anything actually there. Let me tell you how this works for a gentleman versus every other asshole on the planet. A gentleman does not go where he is not invited. A gentleman does not go where he is not wanted. And a mark of a gentleman's strength is not going where somebody doesn't want him to go, but he finds a way to manipulate himself into the situation anyway. That's the mark of an asshole who's trying to prove that he has value by getting a girl who doesn't want him and who will ditch him the next day or the next week or the next month. Okay, now I've been a little intense about that, right? Because I'd like you to look from a different place. Okay, a gentleman goes where he's invited, a gentleman goes where he's wanted. But when a gentleman is truly a gentleman, the doors of possibility are open in a way that they are not for the typical man walking around on the planet trying to do some version of caveman alpha male as though that actually has value. What I would go for is the person, when I think about asking them out, where it feels peaceful, it feels kind of happy, like I feel kind of good about myself. Oh my God, what a weird concept. a man feeling good about himself asking a woman out. Well, guess what? That's because of what she is, her life experience, her energy, her choices, who she's showing up as. Okay? She's a different person. And that's, guys, you gotta realize all women are different. We keep doing this weird friggin' thing of, oh, cute girls, so she's in the box of cute girls. Oh, not cute girls, she's in the box of not cute girls. Can I say something? Some of the most amazing people I have ever met in my life, and some of the greatest sex in the world I've ever had, is with women who did not think they were cute, did not think they were beautiful, and it was fucking phenomenal. We need to get over our shit about a particular look makes somebody valuable. Because guess what? You think your particular look makes you valuable or not valuable. Guess what? It's your fucking being, man. It's our being that makes us valuable. That's it. And when you have it as your being, it's like there's not valuable and not valuable. It's like, well, my being, okay, cool. You being you truly is the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires. You being you is a gift to anybody you might be interested in. You being you is a gift to anybody you might want to hang out with. You being you is the gift. So stop doing everything to not be you and try to fit into some box that somebody else would like, because it's not going to last very long. And if it does last very long, you're going to have to put in so much energy and keep lying to somebody about who you are. Number one, be you. Number two, lower your walls and barriers. Do not push energy, pull energy like crazy. Pull energy. If you want to practice pulling energy, go to a local coffee shop or Starbucks or something. Stand by the door, lower your walls and barriers, and pull energy from them, through you, not to you, but through you, until everybody in the store turns around and looks at you. That's what you want to do, because when somebody is interested in you, they pull energy from you. They don't push energy at you. Number 3 or 4, whatever tip we're on, recognize it within the first moments of perceiving what's going on. You're going to be aware of their world as it relates to you and what they will, how they will respond to you, or at least what's going on in their world, because you're really psychic and nobody's ever told you that. Sorry, that's my job. You're psychic. There you go. But also recognize it within the first millisecond after saying hi. You're going to realize how they're responding to you personally. This is a great gift to know how they're responding to you. And if you want to work really hard, if they're responding to you in a way that is basically go away, you can work really hard, and maybe if you work really hard, you can get them to like you someday. That's way more work than I as a gentleman would like to do. I would actually like to hang out with people that just like me because they do, and I'm not sure why. And I got to say, a lot of my friends, they like me, and I'm not sure why. Like, I love them, I adore them, and still they like me when I don't like me. I mean, that's the kind of person I'd like to hang out with, even if you're just attracted and looking to have sex for a night. Let me tell you the other thing about if you're looking to have sex with somebody. You want to find somebody who touches things seductively. Like if they have a glass, they just, they rub the stem of the glass, or on a table, the tablecloth, they'll be like this, they'll be touching it. That's somebody who actually likes bodies. That's somebody who actually likes sex. And for any of you women watching, this is a great way to find out if a man will actually be good in bed, because somebody who's a sensualist is somebody who will actually be good in bed and somebody who will enjoy sex. Some of you may not like bodies at all. You're just like, no, dude, I want to get laid. Well, if you're like, oh, I want to get laid, then do the opposite of everything I just said. Okay? Now, that's not to say that a gentleman cannot meet a woman, have sex with her, and it can be for one night, and it's great. That's not off the table as a gentleman, okay? So I'm not talking about, you've got to be moral, and if you have sex, you get married or do a relationship. No, it's just got to work for both of you. Because there are a lot of women out there who do not desire a relationship after sex. They just would like really good sex where you're actually really present and you know how to please their body. And that's going to have to be a totally different video than this one. But it's like it just has to work for both of you. That's all. And if we could all get honest on what would actually work for us and get over all this stuff that we're wrong and bad for it, Jesus, the world would be so much fucking easier. But it would be like, in those movies where something occurs in the beginning and then they won't tell each other, like the people won't tell each other. And that's what the whole movie is based on. And then at the end, they finally tell each other. Well, do you realize that if they had told each other right after it happened, there would be no fucking movie? But that's the way most people live their lives. They won't tell somebody. They won't actually be honest about what's going on so they can keep the movie of their life rolling. Let's stop making our lives about the movie. Let's start making our lives about the living of it. And let's actually be us when we're talking to somebody, realize we have an awareness of the energetics, be honoring of them, be honoring of us, and have way more fun than anybody's supposed to. Because that's the other part that occurs when you actually do this. It's easy, it's light, it's joyful, it's fun. That's what I would really like you to have. I hope this video has been a contribution to you guys and ladies out there who are watching. And I hope it gives you a different perspective about what is going on in this area, but also what's actually possible. It really is about just being you. Being you and being there, seeing somebody you like, being willing to have a conversation, lower your walls and barriers, stop trying to pretend you're something you're not, because it'll be far better in the long run if you just be who you are. On that note, my beautiful friends, I hope it's been a contribution. And what if you truly being you are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires. See you again soon. Bye.